Welcome, everyone. You're listening to the ImPerfect Podcast. I'm Kathy.
And I'm Kennedy. Join us on this week's episode as we discuss intriguing topics and people of interest that will inspire us to explore all of the unique pieces of ourselves.
We are all imperfectly perfect.
We're glad you're here.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our next episode of the ImPerfect Podcast.
Yes, welcome back. So today we thought we'd talk about a little bit of a different topic, and it's going to be love languages. So it should be of no surprise that different people with different personalities give and receive love in different ways. So by learning what your love language and your loved one's love languages are, you can actually learn and grow together by better identifying the root of some of your conflicts. You can connect on a deeper level, and you can even begin to grow closer together by just knowing each other's love languages.
Yeah, so if you've never heard of these kind of quizzes, these love language quizzes are used to better understand how you give and receive love, and it ensures that everyone's love needs are being met. I might not give love in the same way that you might prefer to receive love. So it kind of helps sort out different personality types and see what your partner, your spouse, your child is needing of you.
Right. So if you hadn't heard of love languages previous to now, it was actually a concept, and there was actually a book written by a man named Gary Chapman, actually called The Five Love Languages. Go figure. He suggests that everyone take the love language quiz, and then you can exchange your results with others around you for whoever you choose. And it's a free quiz. So we thought we'd actually just go through a couple sample questions from the actual quiz online, just so you can get an idea of what kind of questions are asked to find out what love language I prefer over others. So I'm just going to share my screen for those that are watching on video, and for those that are just listening. No harm done. We're going to read them out loud anyways. Okay, so when you go on the website, this is what you'll see. So you just hit start the quiz. So how do you describe yourself? It says, I am an adult, I am a teenager, or I am taking the quiz for my child. So I'm going to select I am an adult.
And the next one we have here is, how do you describe yourself? And the two choices are, I'm in a relationship or I am single. So let's go with I'm single for this one.
The next one is, it's more meaningful to me when someone I love sends me a loving note, text, email for no special reason, or I hug someone I love. So we'll pick someone I love sends me a loving note, text, or email.
Okay, and it's more meaningful to me when I can spend time alone with someone I love, just us, or someone I love does something practical to help me out. So let's go with that one, the help me out one.
Yeah, and just as one last example, it's more meaningful to me when someone I love gives me a little gift as a token of our love of concern for each other, or I get to spend uninterrupted leisure time with those I love. So we'll pick the first one. So that just kind of gives you an idea of what you can expect if you go online and actually take the quiz yourself, or you do it with your child, or you do it with your partner. And then you can kind of exchange results. Mom and I actually did the quiz, and we're going to share our results and talk a little bit about it at the end of the episode.
Yeah, so the idea is once you've completed the quiz, it kind of earmarks you in one strong category and then in descending order, the other ones that come next. So the 5 love languages that you may be classified as, we're going to go through here. So the first one would be acts of service. And so that's the whole concept of actions speak louder than words, doing things for the other person, like doing selfless, thoughtful things. And if you were in the workplace, it might look like someone helping you finish a project, or if you had an upcoming deadline and you needed some help with that, perhaps they'd help you out with that. In a situation, your partner might do something like clean the car for you or unload the dishwasher. Those really great gifts.
Yeah. Hint, hint, nudge,
And
nudge.
and with family and friends, it could look something like your friend drops you off at the door when you're going shopping. So it just saves you that little bit extra, especially if it's cold out or you got a lot of stuff to carry.
Mm-hmm. So the next one, and again, these are in no particular order, receiving gifts is the next love language. And so it's all about the meaning behind the gift and the thought that went into it. So a gift is just a tangible reminder that the person you love was thought of. And even more so, it can be tangible or it can be an experience as a gift as well. So some examples of that in the workplace would be time off. Who doesn't like time off? A raise, or just even an actual small gift of recognition. And we felt it was important to also make a point that rewards are not the same as gifts. So rewards can be like, this can be used in a manipulative way. So it can be an incentive to work harder, and gifts should actually be, thank you for your time and your effort into the work that you do for our organization. So it's supposed to be in recognition of your performance. So a gift is given without any conditions tied to it. An example with your partner would be they pick you up flowers or coffee for you on their way home. Or with family and friends, it could just be anything, and they just hand it to you and saying, I saw this and I just thought of you.
So the next love language that we're going to look at, it comes under the quality time category. So with something like that, it would be the quality of the time that you're spending with the other person, not just quantity. But you ever have a conversation with someone and you're talking to them and their face is in their phone and you're not quite sure, like, are they giving me their undivided attention? So this would fall under that category, just feeling a connection with someone. We found that this is actually the only love language that helps both people and the participants with things like anxiety and mental health challenges. So just connecting with other people, that's so basic and
Well,
I think so needed, right?
yeah, we're humans. I mean, we're meant to connect with other people. So
Yeah.
that
So
kind of makes sense. Yeah.
this is a big category for some people. So in the workplace, it would look something like giving an employee your undivided attention. Again, you don't have you're facing your books, you're speaking right to that employee. A partner, it would be going on a date, I guess, to the movies or doing something just one-on-one time, spending time with each other. And family and friends, that could be chatting on the phone, meeting for breakfast, just, yeah, even a quick call to say, thinking about you.
Yeah, and that's the thing with quality time too. It doesn't have to be complicated either. Just like Mom just said, just chatting on the phone for 5 minutes and saying, "Hey, what's up?" is quality time in itself. So the next love language is words of affirmation. So it's been found that this love language is actually the most common. So using words of affirmation helps with brain functions. So it increases cognitive reasoning, and it helps strengthen your frontal lobe. So speaking and hearing positive words more often than negative ones can activate the motivational centers of the brain, which is kind of cool. You can give words of affirmation through words, writing, texts, anything. It's just supposed to be a word of affirmation, no matter what form. It is a verbal or written encouragement that brings attention to what makes an individual a unique contributor. So in the workplace, we gave the example of giving valuable and consistent feedback. So this is really great too for remote workers, and I can speak on this as well. Working from home, it's really great to receive feedback and even just communication in general, because you're at home all day by yourself, and then typically in an office, you'd be around other people and you'd be having regular and frequent conversations with these people. So just giving and receiving those words of affirmation means a lot. With your partner, this can just be something simple like, I really appreciate you. And family and friends, again, kind of comparable. So you're the best at making turkey soup or something. It's just supposed to, it's almost like a pat on the back.
Yeah. If we look at the next love language, it would be physical touch. And here's a side note, the acts of service and physical touch, we found that they both trigger oxytocin, and that's a hormone that boosts your mood, morale, and your connection to other people. So thought that was kind of neat. And of course, physical touch, it's the sensation to the skin. So of course, it goes without saying that it needs to be consensual and ethical, and
Yes.
all those things. We don't want anybody getting in trouble, but it really does make sense when you think about it, because really touch is the first language we use to communicate, like as a child to a mother or a father. It plays a critical role in our social and behavioral development even.
Yeah.
So we found some neat study results that included people were significantly more likely to return a dime that was left in a phone booth if the preceding telephone caller reach out and touch them. So
That's so strange to
yeah,
think that if I just said, hey, have a great day, and touched the person's shoulder and I left money behind, that they would be more likely to go, hey, you left money. So we've made that physical connection. So now they're more prone to be my
yeah,
buddy.
yeah,
It's strange.
yeah, yeah. It's strange, but yet it's not when you break it down, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
feel the connection to this random person now.
Hmm.
So we also found that people are more likely to give someone a free cigarette if the request came from a person who touched them at the same time. So like, hey, you got a smoke?
Yeah. Funny.
So
Fun fact, if you're looking for a free cigarette, just touch the person's shoulder first.
right. Does that work with other things too, I
Right.
wonder? Or,
Yeah.
I really like your car. So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, and physical touch, it's lacking in a lot of places. I mean, you think of seniors' homes where
Mhm.
seniors don't see people, or people that just live alone for that matter.
Mhm.
It was extremely a big deal during the pandemic. I know, friends and family that weren't supposed to go near each other. So that really would have affected all of us, of course, but some more than others, I think. So
Mm.
physical touch in the workplace as a love language would look like a handshake or a high five, or that sort of thing. With a partner, of course, a hug or a kiss. Family and friends, just touching their shoulder, giving someone a hug. And yeah, so I
Yeah.
guess that's physical touch. It's yeah, I just
Yeah.
explained something that didn't really need explaining, but
Well, I feel like all of them are pretty self-explanatory, but to hear examples sometimes can kind of help you reflect on, oh, it's more than just what meets the eye. So,
right, right.
we all do express and receive love in different ways, and this can sometimes be the reason for feelings getting hurt or good intentions even falling flat. So,
Yeah.
um, for example, if I planned, this super extravagant date night to go out, and I was gonna, treat my partner to dinner and take them to a movie and whatever, and they had a long day at work and they're more of the stay at home type, and they would have preferred to just stay at home and eat a oven pizza and cuddle up on the couch and watch a movie. That can sometimes rub people the wrong way if a lot of thought and time went into planning this thing, and then it ends up being that they didn't need this great big extravagant thing. So with doing this quiz, it can help you realize what your own and others love languages are, and we can often do for others what our own love languages are. So like mom was explaining in the beginning, if I'm someone who really loves gifts, receiving gifts. If I'm constantly gifting something to my family or friends or my partner, and their love language is, physical touch, they would just much rather have a hug from me.
Yeah.
The
I
love,
just want you to do my dishes.
right? So, right. Okay, mom, sure. But that's how it can sometimes conflict, because we often sometimes will also give the love that we want to receive. So,
Yeah, for sure.
Mm,
And also, if we consider things like cultural and societal changes that have happened over the years, and the way it used to be versus how it is now, and how things have transpired along the way, there were some real expectations there for men to express their love through financial stability and maybe bringing flowers home once in a while,
mm,
and that would be more gift giving type of thing. And women were always expected to have supper cooked and the house all cleaned up, which would be more of an acts of service. So, those were more of a societal gender type role at the
mm-hmm.
time, as opposed to like what somebody's personality had to do with, what they might prefer or
Right,
see as a higher value.
right. And not every family dynamic in today's society would be what you'd call a breadwinner family, like mom was just describing, that the man is the provider and the woman stays home and takes care of the kids in the house and everything like
Mm.
that. So it can kind of change the dynamic of things. And like mom said, your personality can really come through in your love language sometimes. So that dynamic's not always what it was way back when.
Yeah, and I can totally see that, right? The man
Mhm.
comes home and he's, traditional, something you've seen on the TV from, the 50s or 60s. The man comes home and he's all proud of himself and he skips to the door and he's got the box of chocolates and,
Yep.
spent all day at work. And, this is gift giving type. And like we talked about, the woman, she's slaved all day and she's got the kids looked after and the meals ready, and
Hmm.
she's thinking, doesn't he see how much I love him? And he's
Yep.
saying, doesn't she see how much I love her?
Exactly.
But meanwhile, all she really wants is for him to stir the soup so she can go to the bathroom.
Can you
She
just
doesn't
hold the
really,
baby? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, she doesn't care about the box of chocolates. And meanwhile, he's thinking like, well, can't she see how much I love her? And he maybe just wants to be appreciated, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I can see where the conflict comes up, and relevant in everyone's life, I think, at some time or another.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So on that note, mom and I wanted to actually kind of quickly share what we got for results when we did the love languages quiz online that we kind of went through a little bit at the beginning. Because I don't know about you, mom, but my results were a little shocking for me. In some ways and not in others. So my number one was words of affirmation. And although that is accurate, I was surprised that that was my number one. Acts of service was my number three, and I thought for sure that was going to be my number one.
Yeah, and I probably know you one of the best people in your life.
Hmm.
So I would have also said that probably your top two would have been acts of service, physical touch, maybe. Because I
Hmm.
know like when stuff happens when you were younger, you always wanted a hug, you'd
Yeah.
give the Christmas present and you'd sit there like a puppy, just, waiting for the hug to come. So yeah, they were a little off when I look at yours, but
It's
hey,
just,
whatever.
yeah. And I mean,
It's a guide,
yeah, it's
right?
a guide. Exactly. I was just going to say that don't just dismiss how you actually feel either, because I mean,
Right.
I do know that I appreciate acts of service, but I guess it's just something to take into account that I guess maybe I like to hear, you're beautiful or I appreciate you more than someone doing the dishes for me, for example.
Right, right. And so for me, words of affirmation was also my top one, which I would have thought it would have been acts of service, but yeah, so yeah, mine were words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, and receiving gifts and physical touch. So
Yeah, the physical touch isn't surprising for me on yours because uh
I didn't
mom
grow up in a family that was all huggy huggy. So,
yeah.
some people you meet and different cultures, different backgrounds, different family upbringing, and you walk in the door and you're smothered by somebody coming at you trying to kiss both cheeks. And,
Yep.
that's a little bit different for me. And over the past number of years, of course, you adapt and change and get older and more sentimental, and all those things play in. But yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
I didn't grow up with a lot of that. I mean, my parents loved me, there was no issues there, but yeah, it's just different family styles, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So like we were saying, love languages should just be used more so as a starting point. of improving and better understanding your relationship dynamics with other people. So for example, me seeing mom's, physical touch at the end. I mean, I know I can give my mother a hug on the way out the door, but she doesn't like to be smothered. I know that much. So, and I mean, it's supposed to be a starting point is what we're trying to say.
And
But
your bottom one I see is receiving gifts, and Christmas has just passed. So shall I be returning some things?
I mean, no, doesn't mean I don't appreciate them. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we do hope that we've given you something to think about. And if you haven't already done the quiz, or it's been many years, I know for me that was the case. I did the quiz years and years ago and haven't done it as of recently just for this episode. So it could be interesting just to see what you get for results, and it doesn't take long. And there are different types of quizzes that you can do on the website as well, and different dynamics. So you can do like a friendship one, or you can do a partner one, or you can do a parent one. So it's
I thought the parent one was really neat too, because in some of those years where you feel a little disconnected, it might give you some guidance, and it's something fun to do. I can remember even in younger years, we always used to like to get the magazines where you'd fill out the quiz.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
So
still, what celebrity are you? Yeah.
If you were a sandwich.
Yeah.
So I guess there's all kinds of those nowadays on social media, right? So who doesn't like to do a quiz?
Yeah. And just to learn more about yourself. And it can be fun to do with someone else beside you too, and just talk about the results you get. So yeah.
So anyway, guess we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Thanks so much, guys. See you next Monday.
Bye.
If you or someone you know has a unique story to tell, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at theimperfectpodcast@outlook.com.
For more information and how to connect with us on social media, you can visit us at our website, theimperfectpodcast.ca.
And from whichever platform you are listening to this episode, be sure to like, share, and leave us a review. We would really appreciate your feedback. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode.
We look forward to hearing your feedback and seeing you all find that extra joy and embrace your own imperfect.
See you next week.